Genghis Khan once said, "The greatest happiness is to vanquish your enemies, to chase them before you, to rob them of their wealth, to see those dear to them bathed in tears." But before he was a conqueror, he was a boy betrayed, a boy whose life was changed forever by a broken promise. Before he was the legendary Genghis Khan, the man who would unite the Mongol tribes and conquer vast empires, he was simply Temujin. A name whispered on the wind, a boy born into a world of hardship and endless horizons. He was born in a simple, unassuming tent, a yurt pitched on the seemingly endless and often unforgiving Mongolian plains. This harsh landscape would become both his teacher and his proving ground. His father, Yesugei, a respected chieftain, instilled in him the core values of their nomadic life: unwavering loyalty to your tribe and the skills necessary for survival in a brutal world. He taught Temujin how to ride, hunt and navigate the complex social dynamics of the steppe. But Temujin's relatively stable world shattered with brutal suddenness when his father was poisoned by a rival tribe, a devastating blow that would forever alter the course of his young life. With Yesugei gone, his tribe, facing internal strife and external threats, cruelly abandoned his family, leaving them vulnerable and alone on the vast, unforgiving steppe. They were cast out, left to fend for themselves in a world that offered little mercy. Forced to survive in the unforgiving wilderness, battling the elements and the constant threat of starvation, Temujin and his family faced unimaginable hardships. Every day was a struggle for survival, a testament to their resilience. Through these trials, Temujin learned a crucial lesson, that strength, both physical and mental, and unwavering unity were not just desirable qualities, but the very keys to survival. He understood that only by standing together could they overcome the immense challenges they faced. He took on the responsibilities of a man, hunting game with bow and arrow, gathering scarce resources, and fiercely protecting his family from the dangers that lurked in the shadows of the steppe. He was, in essence, forging his own resilience from the crucible of hardship, learning to endure and overcome obstacles that would have broken a lesser spirit. Having been betrayed by his own people, abandoned when he needed them most, Temujin began to understand the fickle nature of loyalty and the importance of choosing his allies wisely. In the face of such adversity, Temujin discovered the true, unwavering value of loyalty from the few individuals who remained steadfast and stood by him, offering support and companionship in a world of treachery. He forged a particularly strong bond with Jamuka, a childhood friend who became more like a brother. Together, they participated in the ancient ritual of blood brotherhood, swearing a sacred oath of loyalty and mutual support that would profoundly shape not only their own destinies, but the destiny of the Mongol people. These early trials, the hardships and betrayals, the lessons learned in the harsh school of the steppe, forged the very steel of his character, hardening his resolve and sharpening his mind. All of this was unknowingly preparing him for the extraordinary, world-changing path that lay ahead. A path that would lead him to become the most powerful conqueror the world had ever known. As a young leader, Temujin, still years away from earning the title of Genghis Khan, possessed a vision for his people. He dreamed of a unified Mongolia, a land of peace and prosperity for all. Temujin, now Genghis Khan, had risen to power through strength and strategy, but he also understood the value of diplomacy and trade. He knew that lasting peace could not be achieved through conquest alone. He sought peace and prosperity, not just for his own people, but for all those who would trade and interact with the growing Mongol nation. His early reign was marked by a genuine desire for peaceful coexistence. To that end, he initiated contact with the Khwarezmian Empire, a powerful kingdom to the south, sending a caravan of merchants laden with valuable goods, hoping to establish trade relations. But the governor of Otrar, a man consumed by greed and suspicion, saw only opportunity for personal gain. He was a man known for his ruthlessness and his insatiable hunger for wealth. He falsely accused the merchants of spying, a baseless charge fueled by his own avarice, and without trial or justification, he executed them all. An act of barbarity that would have far-reaching consequences. He then seized their goods, plundering the wealth intended to foster trade and understanding between the two empires. The stolen goods were a symbol of his treachery. Upon hearing of this atrocity, Genghis Khan, initially stunned by the blatant disregard for diplomacy, demanded justice from the Shah, the ruler of the Khwarezmian Empire. He dispatched ambassadors to the Shah, seeking a peaceful resolution and requesting that the governor be held accountable for his heinous actions. But the Shah, blinded by arrogance and a misplaced sense of power, not only refused to deliver justice, but he killed one of the ambassadors outright. And to further demonstrate his contempt, he shaved the heads and beards of the remaining ambassadors, sending them back to Genghis Khan in a state of utter humiliation. This act was far more than a simple insult. It was a deliberate and calculated act of aggression, a slap in the face to the Mongol Empire. It was a profound betrayal of trust, a shattering of the fragile peace that Genghis Khan had so carefully sought to build. It was a grave violation of sacred diplomatic law, a principle held in high regard across cultures and empires, a principle that ensured safe passage and communication between nations. The bridge of friendship, painstakingly constructed, was now irrevocably burned to ashes, leaving only the embers of resentment and the promise of retribution. Genghis Khan's fury, though not expressed in outward displays of rage, was quiet, deep and absolute, a simmering volcano of righteous anger. In the depths of his heart, a solemn promise of revenge was made, not in haste, but with the cold calculation of a seasoned commander. The world, and particularly the Khwarezmian Empire, would soon feel the full, devastating consequences of this betrayal, as Genghis Khan prepared to unleash the might of the Mongol horde. Genghis Khan unleashed his armies, moving with unmatched speed and cunning. The Mongols struck like lightning, overwhelming cities before defenders could react. Genghis Khan used deception, spies, and brilliant tactics, always staying steps ahead. Otrar fell first. Its governor met a brutal end for his betrayal. The Mongols swept through the Khwarezmian Empire, destroying cities like Samarkand and Bukhara. This was not just conquest. It was a message: betray the Mongols and face total destruction. Genghis Khan kept his promise of revenge, reshaping the world in the process. His actions would echo through history. The name Genghis Khan echoes through the corridors of history, a name synonymous with power, conquest, and a legacy that continues to fascinate and provoke debate. But beyond the battlefield, his life story teaches us about the power of choices, the weight they carry, and the profound impact they can have, not just on ourselves, but on the world around us. Every decision, big or small, sets a course. His journey is a stark reminder of the ripple effects of broken trust, the way a single act of betrayal can spread outwards, touching countless lives and altering the course of destiny. Initially, he first sought justice, a fair resolution to the wrongs he perceived. But when that justice was denied, when the doors of fairness were slammed shut in his face, his quest, fueled by a sense of profound injustice, tragically turned to vengeance, a path paved with fury and retribution. This transformation, this shift from seeking what was right to exacting revenge, ended up changing the fate of millions across continents. His leadership, though often brutal, demanded unwavering loyalty from his followers, a bond forged in shared ambition and the promise of reward. And within his ranks, he fostered a system that recognized and rewarded merit, promoting those who demonstrated skill and dedication regardless of their origins. This combination of unwavering loyalty and meritocratic advancement made his empire incredibly strong, a force to be reckoned with, but also deeply feared by those who stood in its path. The line between justice and revenge is often incredibly thin, a blurred boundary that can easily be crossed in moments of anger or despair. And as Genghis Khan's story illustrates, one unkept promise, one act of betrayal can unleash a storm of chaos that sweeps across generations. In our own lives, trust is a fragile thing, easily broken and difficult to repair, like delicate glass shattering into a million pieces. And we must remember that our actions, both big and small, have lasting consequences, leaving footprints in the sands of time that will be seen by those who come after us. So, Genghis Khan's story asks us a fundamental question, a question that resonates across cultures and throughout history. When we are wronged, when we feel the sting of injustice, do we choose to seek justice, striving for fairness and reconciliation? Or do we succumb to the allure of revenge, seeking to inflict pain and suffering in return? His path, driven by a thirst for vengeance, reshaped the world in profound and often brutal ways, leaving an indelible mark on the course of human history. But the question of how to respond to injustice remains a timeless challenge for us all, a mirror reflecting our own values and choices. Ultimately, what kind of world will we create, not through conquest or domination, but with the promises we choose to keep or the promises we carelessly break?